Park Zoo. I'm going to ask you, is it okay to keep wild animals in captivity? Is that really a good thing to do for the animals, and is it really any good for us? And then finally, tonight, actually we're going to start with this, red tape at City Hall has killed the zombies. The 2013 Zombie Walk in Winnipeg is canceled. Organizers say the costs imposed by City Hall were too high. Lyndon Fraze joins me in the studio. The lines are open, 204-780-6868, 1-800-665-2202, pound 680 on MTS Mobility. Pick up the phone, say what you need to say. I'm Greg Glatz. This is 680 CJOB.
Call Greg now and pick his brain. Not literally. 204-780-6868 or toll free 1-800-665-2202. This is 680 CJOB.
Zombie Walk has been one of the most popular events in Winnipeg over the past few years. It is gone. We'll tell you why. Lyndon Fraze will weigh in.
You're not worried about what people...
Building the true free. This is the Greg Glatz Show on 680 CJOB.
I'm Greg Glatz. This is 680 CJOB. 204-780-6868, pound 680 on MTS Mobility. 1-800-665-2202. The organizers of Winnipeg's 2013 Zombie Walk canceled the event on Wednesday, saying rising costs and safety concerns forced them to bring the event to an end. It's a popular event, typically attracts thousands of Winnipeggers who dress up like zombies and shuffle around the streets. Similar walks take place in cities around the world each October. Alyssa Clark, a spokeswoman for the city, said in an email, organizers of the event were advised during meetings last fall that there could be more costs associated for this year's walk. There's been different numbers tossed around. The city has suggested it could cost as much as $3,500 or $4,000 to deal with all the red tape to hold this walk. The organizers said their costs were closer to $16,000. Either way, it's a lot of money for an event that is very popular and gives Winnipeggers something to do. Lyndon Fraze joins me on the show. Lyndon, welcome back.
Hey, thanks, Greg.
Great to have you on. This is a mystery to me. I have to say I didn't see this coming. The event just seemed to get more popular every year, and then to see it disappear from the radar, kind of a sad thing for Winnipeggers. Would you not agree?
I would agree. It seems a little odd that these people put in their time, volunteered their time to put on an event that, is for the city, which is costing the city nothing. And, they weren't being asked to be paid, and then it's shut down because of, they need to pay for road closures and special event permits and damage deposits and whatever else.
Okay, I like your angle. I want to make sure that we stay focused on that angle. You're saying we had people that were willing to work as volunteers organizing a hugely popular event for the people of Winnipeg, and they got killed with red tape.
Right.
What's that say about our city and the ability to be a world-class city and to have the citizens out on the street enjoying each other's company?
Yeah, it's just really sad to see people that are taking initiative not be encouraged by the city to do that. What a beautiful thing for someone just to say, hey, the city needs to have an event where adults and kids get together to play together. And people actually show up, and then it can't happen because it's not a commercial event.
The ironic thing is the city often spends significant amount of money organizing these events, sometimes has less draw than the Zombie Walk had. So to me, it seems like a reversal of fortune that we would use tax dollars to organize an event that is maybe popular, maybe not popular, whereas we have an event that's being organized by free and we tax it to death, essentially.
Right. And I don't know what all the costs are for, like extra police officers and whatnot, but to my knowledge, there hasn't been big problems from the other ones. So I say, until there's a problem, why are we trying to shut something down? That's only a good thing.
Have you participated in the Zombie Walk?
I haven't, but I have friends who just absolutely loved it.
Okay, and that's the thing. I know people that have participated in the Zombie Walk. They are huge fans. They're not just sort of mediocre interested in it. They are passionately committed to it.
Yeah. I'm not big into zombies myself. I don't watch the zombie movies and whatnot, but I know a lot of people are, and it's just a beautiful thing to see, to hear about adults having a great time playing.
True confession. The first year of the Zombie Walk, on my show, I remember saying, I don't get this. I have no idea why people would want to dress up as zombies and walk through the streets. And I kind of thought it was dumb. And then the organizers of the walk really took me to task. I mean, they really got on my case. And I had to change my point of view, because I think they made a case for a successful event that people enjoyed, that got people out on the streets. And they not only did it once, they did it the next year. They established a track record. They showed they were capable of putting on this event, and it was a good event. And it didn't create chaos and mayhem in the streets. It didn't pose public safety issues. It was well ordered, well organized. It seemed to be a win-win for everybody involved.
Yeah, it's hard to see any negatives to it, and certainly like any psychologist that's looked into the benefits of play and the negatives to non-play, is some would go as far as saying Stuart Brown is famous for his book about play, and he talked about how lack of play is actually a really significant predictor of criminals. People that have no play in their background often.
You're talking about
criminals. Adults who don't, if you look at their play history, like how much they played as kids and into their adulthood, the whole history, the less play, the more significant your chance is of becoming a criminal. That's
an interesting parallel. I love play. Even as an adult, I love play. What qualifies as adult play in your mind?
It can be all sorts of things. It doesn't have to be dressing up, in your dress-up clothes. It can be flirting as play, comedy as play. The piano can be play.
It's great. Now, the organizers have responded to these rising costs by saying, that's it, we're done. Do you agree with that decision, or do you think, and I think it's a protest in some ways, good decision, or should they have fought back and found a way to pay the costs, or maybe change the policy, force City Hall to make an exception, or change the way they organize these events?
I don't think that they have any responsibility to do that, any more than you or I do. You or I could have gone to bat, too.
Yeah. Well, and in essence, I think we're doing that tonight.
I suppose so. But no, I don't. I think it's great what they did, and I certainly don't fault them for calling it quits when it got tough. I'm just thankful for what they've done so far.
Well, let's see what the listeners think. 204-780-6868, pound 680 on MTS Mobility. Are you glad that City Hall killed this with all the red tape? Dumb event, didn't care? Or are you mad that City Hall killed this with red tape? 204-780-6868, pound 680 on MTS Mobility. I want to know if you're passionate about the Zombie Walk, sad to see it go, or glad to see it go. The lines are open. Pick up the phone. Say what you need to say. This is Greg Glatz on 680 CJOB.
The phone lines are open, and Greg is listening. Call him at 204-780-6868 and speak your mind. This is the Greg Glatz Show on 680 CJOB.
780-6868, pound 680 on MTS Mobility, 1-800-665-2202. Lyndon Fraze joins me in the studio. We're talking about the cancellation of Zombie Walk 2013, not going to happen this year. Organizers cite the rising costs, mostly imposed by the city, permits, $3,500 for events that don't participate in the Public Works Festival cost-sharing program. $3,500 is a lot of money to come up with to organize the event, Lyndon. And, of course, the organizers said the costs are as high as $16,000. Is this a cash grab by the city in your mind? Do you perceive it that way?
No, I don't perceive it that way. I just think that there are rules that are set in place, and in this case, the rules did damage.
What concerns me, we'll get back to the zombie part of the equation in a sec, but when you're charging people this kind of money to assemble, it seems to me to start implying that the ability to assemble depends on economic resources.
Yeah, I think that's a really sacred thing that we should be able to do, and there should be allowances for that.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm concerned about what this says to people that want to assemble for any cause, whether it's play-oriented or politics-oriented, some kind of issue orientation. When you start putting a huge cost on events like this, to me, it questions the feasibility of doing them in the first place. And so it's not only getting people out on the streets and celebrating, it's just getting people together to move and motivate and mobilize.
Yeah, and you know what? It takes a lot for someone to put themselves out there and organize an event like this.
Exactly.
So any additional friction from the authorities is not going to encourage it. Obviously, it reminds me a little bit of the bicycle parade law that they were
Great
attempting
example.
to push through, where there was going to be a fee or they were going to have to go through proper channels in order to have more than 10 bicyclists riding together. And again, that would have the potential to shut down some great events that people are putting on.
City Hall red tape means Zombie Walk 2013 will not happen. Are you sad to see it go or glad to see it go? Nathaniel, you're on 680 CJOB. Go ahead, Nathaniel.
Hi. Yeah, I'm perplexed. I just wonder about what's behind. There must be something underlying the City Hall's position on this. Just to see why this be.
Well, how do you feel that it's gone? Are you glad to see it gone or sad to see it gone?
I'm sad to see it gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a happy thing. It's a healthy thing for the city.
Did you participate other years?
That's the point. It's really I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nathaniel, thanks for your call. A little bit of a connection problem there with Nathaniel. Lyndon, you've said that the cancellation of the Zombie Walk is another case of the city prioritizing order over experience. Explain what you mean by that.
Well, I think that there's always a trade-off when you try to when you add a rule or any kind of regulation or restriction in favor of safety. There's almost always a trade-off for the potential for experiences. And this is an example. So we have a concern that people are going to disrupt traffic or someone's going to get hurt, like they talked about safety concerns. And now look what we have. We have one less opportunity for a great experience.
So in my mind, make order important, put it on the agenda, but don't attach costs to order that make it impossible to have the experience. Is that not the way forward?
Well, I just think that you have to be aware that there's almost always a trade-off. Like if you have a rule for driver licensing, for example, now 12-year-olds can't drive a that and we've decided that they're not going to have that experience, right?
Right.
So we could have like a wild west of roads, but we've decided that we're going to have rules for that, but we are limiting experience when we do that. So we have been piling more and more traffic rules, and eventually it will probably become more restricted than it is now. So we need to be cognizant of where we're comfortable drawing the line between, the balance between experience and freedom and order and safety.
Totally. But with a license, we don't make cost the determining factor. We make age and maturity the determining factor.
Right.
And to some extent, driver's record.
Right.
Here, it's just about cost. And that's my concern, the dollars attached.
Yeah. So I guess I'm assuming that the thinking is that there are costs, like the city has to pay a cost in order to have this event going on, like extra police officers and whatnot. So they're saying, well, the people that are taking part in the event should be the ones paying. I'm guessing that's kind of the logic.
Yeah, except that there is no money being generated by the event for anybody's profit.
Exactly. And it's probably debatable how much extra cost they actually need to put in if they're willing to take on a little bit more risk of maybe traffic will be disrupted on a Saturday evening.
Right.
That sort of thing. Maybe some drivers will be confused that there are, people with face paint on. If you can accept some of that, your costs go way down.
Exactly. Zombie narrative has been used to improve public safety in the U.S.
Actually, yeah. So this is totally on the other side of the spectrum for how we're viewing zombies. Are we viewing this as a possible tool or as a threat to our...
So let's talk about it as a tool instead of a threat.
Sure. So the CDC in the States actually has materials put out...
The Center for Disease Control?
Yes. Yeah, so this is actually the total other end of the spectrum. They're seeing it zombie narrative as a way to increase the public safety. So the way it all started was they made these posters talking about how you should be prepared for disasters, and they were zombie-themed poster. So they're trying to get people to have like emergency kits in their homes and stuff. And it was so successful that they started creating tools for teachers to bring into classrooms. They made a graphic novella. And
wow.
They have a zombie blog on the CDC. This is cdc.gov. This is like all business website. Instead, the director of the CDC said, it started. He said, actually, if you are generally well equipped to deal with a zombie apocalypse, you will be prepared for a hurricane, pandemic, earthquake, terrorist attack.
Great logic. 204-780-6868, pound 680 on MTS Mobility. Are you sad to see the zombie walk gone? It's canceled due to City Hall red tape. Are you glad to see it gone? We'll get to the lines right after the news and sports with Tristan Field-Jones on 680 CJOB.
680 CJOB weather.
Clearing tonight, low of 10. Tomorrow, cloudy with a slight chance of showers late in the afternoon, high of 22. Tomorrow night, a slight chance of showers early in the evening, then clearing, low of 11. And Tuesday, sunny and a high of 18. Currently, with a bit of a south breeze, it's 18 degrees at 680 CJOB.
The Greg Glatz Show on 680 CJOB.
204-780-6868, pound 680 on MTS Mobility, 1-800-665-2202. The 2013 Zombie Walk is canceled. Are you glad to see it go, or are you sad to see it go? Rising popularity year after year really got Winnipeggers together out on the streets. A lot of fun for people. Lyndon Fraze has made the case for play, saying that play is important not only for kids but for adults. This is one example of play. And Lyndon, you said that play makes us less likely to have criminal tendencies.
Yeah, and social play counteracts tendencies towards greed and arrogance as well.
Wow. I mean, bring back the zombie walk. Yeah. We need it sooner. It would be great if the mayor participated in the zombie walk.
I would, if he would do that, I'd be there for sure.
It'd be fantastic. Are you glad to see it go or sad to see it go? 204-780-6868. Terry, you're on 680 CJOB. Go ahead, Terry.
Hi, guys. I'm really appreciative that CJOB is taking the time to talk about this. But, I was thinking when I was listening, what about some corporate sponsorship? I mean, CJOB would easily benefit from helping these guys. If it's only $3,600, I mean, God, I sell homes for RE/MAX, and I'd certainly be interested in cost sharing something like this. And I think that with OB and a couple other people out there, I mean, it's a no-brainer. I mean, if the cost is under $5,000, quite frankly, from a corporate standpoint, that's nothing. If you're talking, and I thought I heard earlier in the week, it was over $20,000 the cost. Was that right?
Yeah, well, I heard reports of $16,000. That was the highest number I heard.
Well, even then, if you got 4 or 5 partners together, and these volunteers are awesome that they've given their time, but I think they need someone to maybe approach some businesses. It's too bad we're talking about it right now with October in front of us instead of 40 or 50 days ago, because you could make this happen very quickly. And I mean, I can see it clearly that some real fun could be had with the corporate people to sponsor and sort of push this forward. Don't be a zombie. Call Terry to sell your house or whatever, right?
Good one, Terry.
The CJOB zombie walk. I mean, it's the headliner. I mean, there's a million things you could do, and I think that with a little bit of not a lot, I bet you under 5 or 6 hours you'd have this all put together from a marketing standpoint to get the people online. And like I said, with someone like CJOB or the Free Press or the Sun or someone else that's high-profile news, then you get the free advertising as well. I mean, it's a no-brainer to try and push this agenda.
Sure. Lyndon, you're an entrepreneur, and you've done marketing. What do you think of this idea from Terry?
Well, I think it would work for sure. Yeah, it
so
seems
you like it.
It's a great idea. I mean, but it's still too bad that you'd have to go through that step,
do all that organizing.
Yeah, you can't just go on the street and have fun, without having permission.
I get it totally. I mean, I understand where you're coming from, and unfortunately, I kind of get where the city's coming from. I mean, we all hate taxes, and unfortunately, there's going to have to be some police officers, and there's going to have to be some other stuff that someone's got to pay for, right? And I mean, I pay enough taxes, and it ticks me off most days. But That's what I'm saying.
Stay tuned for hour 2.
I get where they're coming from, too.
Yeah, Terry, I really appreciate your sense of corporate citizenship and your willingness to get involved in something like this as a business person. Do you think that businesses in Winnipeg are also civic-minded like you?
I think there's a ton of civic-minded business people in Winnipeg. I mean, there's a lot of high-profile ones, which is really awesome, but I know from my industry, and I hate to toot our own horn, but I know that over the years we've given millions of dollars to the Children's Medical Network and to the Children's Hospital. So that goes back to what Lyndon's talking about, whether it's for the kids or for adults. I mean, I have a bunch of kids that want to do this, and we just haven't done it yet. And they were kind of sad when they heard the other day that this was done. And I really believe in my heart that if Lyndon or whoever's in charge calls me, looks me up on the website, or Terry Iseric at Remax, I'd certainly put my money where my mouth is, and I would certainly actually volunteer some time to chase some other corporate people.
That was my next question. Yeah, that was my next question. Would a person with your expertise and your entrepreneurial spirit and your connections, would you be willing to help track down some other sponsors? And you just offered that.
I would, for sure. No problem. You know what? I've sat on other boards, and like I said, I give to the Children's Hospital every year, a little piece every house I sell, and I'd certainly love to help you guys.
Terry, what's your name again?
Terry Iseric, Isaryk, and I'm with Remax on St. Mary's Road.
Thanks so much for your call. It's great to talk to you tonight.
Have a good night, guys. Good luck, and seriously, call me.
You got it. Mike, you're on 680 CJOB. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, hi. Well, I was just going to ask, more about an explanation about, what it is, because, I heard, it could be just a fun thing for, going for at a club, or it's a real serious commentary on, the being turned into robots in the bureaucratic government system kind of.
Lyndon, offer a bit of an explanation.
Well, it's just a bunch of people who are dressed up as, dead people, the living dead. And these walks, basically they walk from the Forks to the legislative grounds, and they just pretend that they're zombies. This is something has been done in many cities across the world. Some of the marches are a lot bigger than this one.
Why do you do it? It's is there more than one reason?
Yeah, there are. A lot of the marches are actually done to raise donations for hunger-based charities, or at least, that's the cause that they take on. But you know what? I think the main thing is just for fun. I think that's what it is, so, just for fun.
Nothing different than Halloween or something like that?
It's a lot like Halloween.
But I heard it had something to do with bureaucratic people and another kind of group of zombies.
I'm not sure if it's meant to be a social commentary, but I'm sure some of the people there feel that. Yeah.
It would be. Yeah, it would be, especially in this case. Mike, do you see yourself dressing up as a zombie and hitting the streets of Winnipeg?
Too busy working.
Okay, but you heard what Lyndon said about the importance of adults taking time to play, right?
I think anything with a lot of good PR is good for business, and kids should have fun. And if this is the new, punks or whatever.
Yeah, but do you get any time to play, Mike? Do you have any time for play?
No, not passionate about anything, just trying to pay the bills.
Aren't you worried about the psychological studies that talk about tendency towards criminality if you don't make time for play in your life?
If zombies are just playing, that's okay. I mean, but nobody knows if they're playing or if they're doing something else.
All right, Mike. Thanks so much for your call. Have a great night.
Thank you.
All right, 204-780-6868.
The Greg Glatz Show on 680 CJOB.